We're back here on One-on-One at New York's longest-running sports call-in show. I'm Andrew Galata alongside Colin Lockard, and we're joined by a very special guest. He's a two-time all-conference receiver and newly named Fordham football team captain. He also accumulated over 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns last season for Fordham MJ Wright. MJ, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, for sure, MJ. And when I, interviewing those current type of players, I interviewed a few players down at the Super Bowl. I'm really interested in kind of like their paths, how to get to the point where, you get. Is that, high school, even going back further? We were texting a little bit, and you said, your dad played college football. Your uncle, played in the NFL as well, was, a really good college football player. So looking at your kind of, maybe bedrock, type of foundation in high school and that type of stuff. Can you just touch upon that to start?
Yeah, so I'll take it back all the way to when I was 5 years old, started playing flag football. And then at 7 years old, I started playing tackle football, playing against like 9-year-olds, and I was always like the smaller guy in the pack. And my dad kind of coached me out all the way through 8th grade. But like my role models in life and in football is my dad. Obviously, I told you he played at NC State, and then it's just a blessing to have two of my uncles, one Chad Dukes and Chuck Dukes from Albany, New York. Actually played at Pitt, Chad, and he had a good career there. And then he played on the Redskins and the Rams, actually, in 98 and 2000. And then my other uncle, it's kind of pretty cool how they compete back and forth. But Chuck Dukes, this was in 92 and 93. At BC, he was on the Heisman watch list. So
really,
yeah, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So very competitive family, and they kind of inspired my life in terms of like taking the football path. But first, I was a big basketball guy, big AU basketball guy. Yeah. Played with a bunch of guys. You probably know like Brian Antoine, Scotty Lewis.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was throughout like middle school, and then I thought I was gonna take the basketball path, but obviously those guys excelled in basketball. And then I realized I want to take the football path, so that's what kind of got me here.
You mentioned your dad, and we do thank you for coming on the show, joining us.
For sure.
What was it like growing up in such a football family? Very competitive, I imagine, or was it more of just tough love, get back to work, keep training type of deal?
Yeah, it was very competitive. My family's very competitive. We always used to gather together and play kickball, football games in our front lawn, backyard, and it was just everyone was just very hard on themselves, which I take personally, and it just kind of just keep working, and they always like instill that in me to never get outworked every single day. So it kind of kept me on that path, and that's what got me here.
And I know you played high school football down at Red Bank Catholic and New Jersey football. I think everyone talks about how it's very, very competitive, very, very high level of football. What was that like in that kind of experience?
Yeah, so first I want to say Jersey kind of gets disrespected in terms of
I mean,
we're like
get the NFL talent though,
the
it's
NFL
there.
Talent is there. So I went to Red Bank Catholic High School. We were always very strong, and it was my senior year. It was 2018. We were the first team in 60 years, I want to say, that went undefeated and won a state championship. And the guys on the team, I don't know if you know, but like shout out to Kevin Bauman, tight end, right behind Michael Mayer at Notre Dame. My other friend, Steve Lubisher, who's the best quarterback in the state at that time. He's at BC, plays safety. Charlie Gornier plays safety. My friend Jaden Key plays at UPenn. Just a bunch of just Division I talent, and it was just a blessing to play with them. And my best friends today. So, yeah.
Obviously now at Fordham, staple in that offense at wide receiver. Since you started here, have you seen the program change? And if so, how has the offense changed?
It definitely excelled. Since I got here, in 2019, I want to say, I think we were, I want to say like 3-8. I don't even know, 3-8, something like that. And then the second year, something like that too. And it was just everything was like kind of just felt the morale was down around campus and everything. And then kind of excelled when Coach Deck and Coach Celtic got here and Coach Conley knew they had to flip that switch. And ever since then, we just been high-powered, and nothing could really stop us. And kind of just we knew that we had the talent, but we just had to put that talent together.
And talk about when you get here in 2019 when, you have DeKeith Carter come in, super, super talented. Fotis Kokosoulis comes in, super talented. Yourself, super talented. That receiving group, recruiting class like that coming up from the start, just talking about how you guys have grown from, 2019 to this coming year where you guys were ripping it up.
Yeah, so we started 2019 freshman. We knew we had to be an impact with our class because Coach Conlon was instilled that in us that class was going to be big and helping the team. So we knew we had to just compete against each other every day and just want to be the best receiver corps in not only the Patriot League but in the country. So we just had to keep working and got us to that point.
You guys come in together. I can imagine the camaraderie that goes along with that. Do you all learn from each other, things you can do on the field, even off the field, work ethic, things like that?
Yeah, definitely. We kind of model each other's games and kind of just compete each other in terms of like I'll learn something from Keith, I'll learn something from Fotis in terms of like second level releases or working a release or like working a route, and we just go out there with Tim every day and just see what we can get better on.
And you talk about Tim. I mean, what a career.
Yeah.
I mean, at Fordham. I mean, you could go through all the accolades. We'd be here all day.
All day.
I mean, what he was able to do and, your relationship with Tim. I mean, what you guys, especially you and Tim, I felt with like the timing type routes, you guys seemed like you were always on the same page. Like, can you just talk about your relationship with Tim? Obviously, you guys, been together since 2019, but how you guys have grown and this year, obviously, having an amazing year.
Yeah, it definitely started my freshman year because I wanted to come get an impact as a true freshman. So we would always work on the side, and he always pulled me to the side, and we just get that timing down, get the route tree down. And he kind of just taught me and just what I needed to do, and just in film study, kind of pulled me to the side. And not only me, but like all the guys.
Yeah.
And he knew that I know Tim just wanted to spaz and snap, and that's what got him to this point. So.
Is there an NFL quarterback that he reminds you of?
I mean,
have to ask it.
Okay, I don't even know, but I'm guessing you guys saw the Instagram post where it said like Tim could be the seventh round Tom Brady, but Tim's a little bit of everything. It was just great playing with him. I don't even know if I can compare him to him. Tim's just Tim.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, he was so good at running the offense.
Yeah.
Just watching him, it seemed like he always knew where to go and what were kind of the right moves. And I'm assuming that's extremely difficult when you have 3 1,000-yard receivers, which first time in, I think, Fordham's a very, very long time, if it happened before.
Yeah.
Obviously, the history goes back all the way to, like, 1900. But, what he was able to do to give you guys the ball and, like, make sure that when you guys are open, he's getting it to the right guy to have only 11 games, 3,000-yard receiver. It's ridiculous.
4,000 yards. The way he can spread it around is just unbelievable to me. Because like one game, I get double teamed. The next, Keith would spaz. Fotis would get double teamed. I spaz. It just everyone just around us would just go crazy. So Tim just knew how to spread the ball around.
So now, what's your favorite route to run? Gotta ask that.
Favorite route to run. I want to say our little option route. So we get either say if you're pressed, DB's off covers, you can either run past them, you can get in there, almost like a 8-yard in, a little like a slant. So you kind of have an option of getting in there, hooking it up, or just going running right past them. So I want to say the fade ball because you got to just go be your DB, work a release, and just go get it. But say if it's a double move, I like a post corner. So I love those routes.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you talk about option routes, and I guess giving the player in this Fordham offense a lot of different options and decisions to make. I know a lot of people kind of talked about how when that change came in at, I think it was like the middle of last season with Coach Decker talking about like the Tennessee type offense where
spread offense,
when you guys were able to run. What was that change like, and when was kind of that clicked moment where like, hey, like this is gonna make us dominate the Patriot League?
So we had the original splits. It was like the norm, what everyone kind of does, and then once we spread out the field, the defense didn't know how they could cover it. So everything, the middle was open, slants were open. So I feel like this just the change to that Tennessee offense and UCF offense as well. It was just great that we adapted to it.
As Andrew mentioned there, you guys had a highly successful season last year, ended up in the FCS playoffs. Was there one thing in particular you learned from that season?
That I feel like everyone doubted us, to be honest with you. And just us just keep working. And we knew we had a goal to where Patriot League Championship or not, that was our first main goal, Patriot League Championship, but just making it to the playoffs. We just knew we had something special. We couldn't just throw it away. So with all the talent we had on offense, defense, Trace Need, Phil, Julius Leffers, crazy. Yeah. Everybody, we just knew we just couldn't throw that talent away. We just knew that we could put up points, we could come together and just make it to that point.
Was there a moment when you guys realized this season you had something special cooking?
Yes, I want to say it was starting in camp, just our bond in camp. Just knew how we would just trash talk and just go back and forth with each other, how we just knew we wanted to be the best version of each other every single day. So just trash talk and just everyone just competing against each other.
I mean, the offense, I mean, the stats as a whole, I mean, just complete gaudy. I mean, 50 points per game. Before this season, we had 2 teams this year who put up 50-plus points in the FCS, but only one team did it before that. That team had Jerry Rice on it.
Oh, wow.
So to talk about what you guys were able to do to get to that level, I mean, 50 points per game is, a very, very impressive mark. Was there anything you feel like that was very special about this offense? Either, obviously Tim and all the talent, but something that maybe, gets you to that next level of where, you're putting up, numbers that really haven't been seen.
So we knew we were struggling a little bit on defense, but we knew we wanted to do more every single drive. We just wanted to put up points, score. It seems like we got to score this drive. We got to score this drive. With Coach Deck, we just talking about just scoring, and we just wanted to. Our goal was obviously you said we were averaging 50, but we just wanted to keep putting up more every single game. So I guess with our high-powered offense, we knew we could do it. So we just wanted to just keep challenging ourselves.
And one thing that I want to get into is that Ohio game where, you guys go back and forth with an FBS team.
Yeah.
Fotis puts up
300,
4 touchdowns, an insane game. What was it like seeing that offensive output against an FBS team? Obviously, you guys have played FBS teams in the past, but to almost come out of there with a win, what was that game like?
We just knew that we could compete with everybody, especially with our offense. We just knew that no one can stop us. And our defense was doing the same, stopping their offense. Obviously, we would want that game back. But it was just seeing just all that just get put on display and just how no one could guard all of our route trees. It was just great to see.
So funny enough, I was on the sideline for that Ohio game covering it for FUV.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, what did you make of that environment? Because I thought it was very interesting, very different from what we have cooking here in the Bronx.
It was definitely different. At first, it was a little quiet. I want to say a little quiet. But then when they started
they got a little angry.
Yeah, they got a little angry when they started putting up a little more points. That's when everybody was on their feet, and you couldn't, I remember, I don't know if you guys traveled with I know you traveled to the Nebraska game. Did you travel?
Both,
yeah, obviously you couldn't hear anything in there, but I'm like, it was that last drive when they kind of backed us up to 3rd and 60-something. I don't want to talk about that. But you couldn't really hear anything. It was just a great atmosphere, and seeing them, I guess they were kind of deplenished to where when we were putting up points, they're like, oh, shoot, we're about to lose. And then when they realized that they were putting up points, we couldn't really hear anything. And then that's when that atmosphere was just great to play in.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy because, when you guys took the lead, I think it was in the 4th quarter, it went dead quiet. And I was I thought there was a penalty or something went wrong calling the game because you're like, what happened? It just went dead, which is crazy to think about. But, I mean, you talked about Nebraska. I mean, how does that game and that playing in that atmosphere kind of prepare you for obviously, big games at Fordham and then also kind of looking forward as well? Yeah,
I guess just embracing the moment, really, and kind of just challenging yourselves to who's supposed to be the top players in the country, no matter whatever they say. But, I mean, that doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. But, a kid that was actually guarding me the whole game, he's the starting corner for the Bengals. Okay. Cam Taylor-Britt. Yep. And it was just good to play against him and just kind of see that talent towards, the FCS talent and then, the Patriot League talent. It's obviously a big difference. It's just great to, kind of just knowing where I want to be and, where I want to play. I just kind of learn his game and then learn other people's games and kind of just made me a better player. So now looking forward to this year, now I know that, coming back for your grad year, what was that decision like of kind of deciding what you wanted to do? Yeah, a lot went into it. I guess obviously since a little kid, I had big FBS aspirations. And I saw that, I told you how my uncle and my dad did it. So I was like, oh shoot, I want to be the next one up. But I realized I want to write my own story. So I realized that bigger's not always better, and grass is not always greener on the other side. So I want to come back, play with my brothers, and just pursue that Patriot League championship, get my master's, and hopefully go from there. And I knew what we have here was the experience we have here, even though it's we have experience and we have young guys, and we just put it together. And I feel like we have that goal, and we're going to get that goal.
You were named as one of the captains for this upcoming season. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We know you're a team-oriented guy, but on a personal level, is there anything you're looking to achieve this upcoming year?
On a personal level, I guess my main goals are I wanna obviously I'd like to have a back-to-back 1,000-yard season, and I guess just being a big leader on this team and just bringing these young guys around, just day in, day out, working with the receivers, because we have a good receiver class coming in, and just bringing everybody together, just pursuing that Patriot League championship. And I want to be one of the best receivers in the country, and I'm just given that the talent that we have come back with the quarterbacks we've coming in, freshmen, and then the transfer quarterback coming in, I feel like I could do that and just bring that group with me, Makai, Garrett, just bring them along with me in terms of just pursuing that, just being the best FCS group in the country in terms of receivers.
And you kind of talked about, a little bit about this receiving group this year, obviously different in the past. No Dakis Carter, no Fotis Coco Soulis. Mm-hmm. How does that change, your leadership role? Obviously, you guys were kind of all kind of together, and it was like
Right.
1A, 1B, 1C, kind of looking at you three. Now, you're kind of taking the next step. Makai's taking the next step, who had a good year in his own right. Like, how do you guys, take maybe that next level in like the leadership area as well?
I want to say more film study. That's the big thing. Just showing guys just DB's coverages and kind of just breaking down the little things, the small things for sure. And then I think that's what makes me a better leader. And that's going to just bring everybody to their best point and where they want to get at.
So we're reaching that springtime point, but it won't be long until summer is here, kind of a dead space before things really heat back up. End of the summer, right into the fall. What does a typical summer look like for you? Is that recovery time, or is that more of let's just get back in the gym and get right back at it?
Yeah, summer. So I'll be here summer 1 for June. We have workouts here. And you have the option of saying summer 1 and summer 2, but I kind of like going home and working out with like my trainers and stuff. But this summer is actually going to look a little different. I'm going to be here summer 1, June, and then July we plan on going to California, working out for a week with with one of our quarterback transfers. He's from there, and his dad's a good trainer. And then I think I'm probably going to go to Atlanta and work with there's a guy named Silent Hustle. I don't know if you see him on Instagram and stuff. I trained with him my freshman year. And he works out with like all the NFL guys, so I'm trying to just work out with him for a week, and then he said that's going to change my life. So just working out with those NFL guys, I feel like it's just kind of just taking that next step forward to where I want to go in the season, where I want to go. So.
One last question for you, MJ. Obviously, you talked about this team, you said last year, kind of being a little bit doubted.
Yeah.
I think coming into this year, it's kind of that same narrative. Obviously, Holy Cross has, held the Patriot League kind of, crown for quite a while. What's that thing that you feel like team that you guys have to do to kind of take that next step? Obviously, you have a lot of mix of young and older guys, but to kind of unseat them.
So Coach always says we're nobody right now. That's what Coach always preaches us to us day in, day out, and we just got to put everything together and just embrace the journey and just work literally blood, sweat, tears every single day. Spring ball, lifts, workouts, and just keep pushing each other just to be the best. And I feel like just doing all that, which will pursue that Patriot League championship.
A 2-time all-conference wide receiver, newly named Fordham team captain, MJ Wright. Thanks for joining us, MJ.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
We'll be right back on One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show.